Yes, he is back. Where are you
Yeah.
coming from? What has been going on this morning already for you? Tell me what the
Uh,
day's activities.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. But
Perfect.
not just playing, not just playing, not just playing, not just playing. I'm
Don't
in
sound like
Jacksonville right
around
now
the
with my
first 10
boys.
seconds of the interview, Gigi.
My fault, my fault. I'm down here in Jacksonville, Florida, and earlier I just got out of the ice tub. I just wanted to take like a week and a half because my best friend goes to college here. He plays on the team, and we've just been trying to get quality work in, trying to go game
That's a
speed with all the
lackluster
reps and all
shout
that.
out.
But
You gotta shout the homie out. If he gonna walk through the camera and be a part of the interview,
Donovan
you gotta
Rivers
give him
will be in the
a
league
proper
soon.
shout out.
Donovan Rivers. Okay, perfect. Hi,
Yo.
Donovan.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, I gotta ask you about the thing that happened this week was obviously the big lottery, and I don't know if you pay attention to it if you're not necessarily going to be directly affected, but the fact that the Dallas Mavericks for the 1.8% chance got the #1 pick. What did you think about that?
I don't know. Kind of what everybody was thinking, like what the hell was Nico doing? You know what I'm saying? Like he made it work. It was like, oh my God. But shout out to the Mavs. It was funny getting to see Kyrie, post a 1.8%. But these guys are coming, and they trying to take over the league as fast as they can. And I feel like anybody in that top 10 really can be like a face for the league in the coming future, and even with the next two drafts. So. I'm just watching it from a standpoint like, oh, I'm glad I'm in the gym now, but it's time to start doing a little bit extra. Because you watch the draft combine videos, these guys, they in the mid range, not missing, handle look tight, they're not missing from three. Everybody's up breathing, nobody's tired and stuff. So these guys, they're taking it as professional as possible. So I just try to take a little bit of that and implement it to myself.
Yeah, Gigi, like we just talked about, lottery didn't necessarily go you guys' way. You get swept in the first round, tough break in the playoffs. Now there's talk about possible roster changes. Can you see a world in which Jaren Jackson Jr. or Ja Morant aren't your teammates anymore? Can you even envision that?
To be honest, not really. I can't. They're really the heart and soul, but I feel like we have a heart, a soul, and a brain, with Desmond involved, but, getting rid of the heart and the soul is, you can't leave everything up to the brain, you feel me? So
Right.
I really can't see that. It'll shock me a lot if that happens, but, guys are obviously going to do what's best for them and their families and all that from a, business aspect and all that. But I really feel like if we find a way to stick together and iron these wrinkles out, we can, definitely make a farther push in the playoffs than we did this past season.
Yeah, and Gigi, obviously you never want to see any of your boys go. A big name that we keep hearing is Giannis. He could be available. Would that be crazy to pair with Giannis, and would that be crazy to have him come to Memphis and any sort of package? Like, how nuts would that be playing with him?
I know in practice my side will be hurting a little bit more. He gonna try to snatch me up in practice if I'm facing him from three. But that'll be insane. He's definitely a player that can come into any organization, any offensive system, any defensive system, and make an immediate impact. I really don't know how far we're looking into that, but I'm not opposed to anything, mainly because that's above my pay grade. But and just he's a legendary player in the flesh. So whatever we can get to help us get over that hump, I feel like we kind of should take it, I guess. So
that's a good answer. It's just like whatever happens, happens. It's
yeah,
kind of the attitude you got to have. I know it was a bit of a roller coaster year. We started the season out with you last year. You were injured, be able to come back mid-season. How difficult is that to sort of not just have to be injured, but to have to sit there and wait for your chance to finally get out and sort of build that chemistry?
I would say it's hard during like the final stretches of your rehab and actually getting back able to work out and things like that. But it's easy, to sit on the couch and get fat and tell the guys in the locker room, oh, when I get back, first game I'm dropping 30. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say things like that, and it's easy to feel that way. But Mr. Kleiman, I said his name right. I said it wrong in our last interview of our last game. But he told me during that injury, he was like you're gonna have so much time on your hands, you're gonna be so bored. Like, don't make any is it decisive decisions? Is that the word? Like decisive decisions?
Yeah,
Indecisive.
big one.
Indecisive
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I might come back tatted, and I might do all these other,
Big
stupid
decisions.
things. But
Okay.
yeah, so it's just being able to keep your head focused on the main thing is a little bit difficult. But though that final stretch of weeks is definitely the roughest because you see how far behind you are than everybody else. Especially if you were, kind of BSing through the rehab stage, and I would say I kind of was. And I just got to take that on the chin and roll over to next year.
I like your mentality, man. Just always remember the main thing is always the main thing. Everything else come after that. And I see you working, man. You done told me that you was in the cold tub. You got the towel, so I see you in the lab. What you trying to add to your bag this year for this season?
Consistency and really a higher motor. I feel like if I'm out there and I'm able to slide my feet, keep a guy in front of me longer than 3 seconds, I feel like I can gain a lot more from our newly implemented head coach. He sees a lot in me, but like every other coach, I'm gonna have to earn it. So just being able to not get tired. It's gonna be hard for that because I don't know how Scotty does it. He's a hell of a defender and a hell of a player. But just being able to stay up on the floor, I feel like it's huge for me, and just added consistency.
Gigi, I heard you tell a story about getting uninvited to Steph's camp in high school. I need details on what happened there, and if you ever brought it up to him. Like, do you go harder against him when you guys play the Warriors? I need some details on that.
Last year, my first game against them, I think it was MLK, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't MLK, it was like somewhere around that time. And I wanted to speak to him so bad, but I didn't want to come off as like, oh my God, Stephen Curry. So during halftime, I made sure I got out the locker room first because I knew he was going to be out there, getting his little shooting routine or just dribbling the ball. So, I yelled his name out, and surprisingly, he turned around. And I told him, I was like, you know what, man? You guys uninvited me from your camp. And he was like, huh? I was like, granted, I did skip my senior year of high school, so it's 50-50 on me. But come on, man, I could at least frame the invitation somewhere in the room or something.
Uninvited is rough. That just sounds
That's
horrible.
Yeah.
By the way, we had Jaylen Wells on a little earlier, I guess last week actually. And the YUKI thing comes up again. So where are we on teaching YUKI, not just the curse words, but obviously he was talking about the slang words, which is always, that changes every week, for goodness sake. Where are we on the teachings of YUKI?
Mm-hmm. Yo man is like at the beginning of every sentence for him, and then he might end like 60% of sentences with bruh. So we got a yo man and a bruh in there. So
is he teaching you guys anything? I'm wondering how is it like a two-way street at this point?
He taught us some words I feel like I really can't say and explain. He taught me specifically just one word, and I don't think it's appropriate to say so.
What is it?
I'm gonna keep you out of hot water.
Okay,
Switching gears, Gigi. Man, the playoffs been on fire this year. A lot of good games, a lot of upsets, a lot of surprises. Which series has had you locked in the most so far?
I ain't gonna lie, it was that Celtics-KNICKS series.
Yeah.
Prayers up for Jayson Tatum and the Tatum family and the Celtics organization. I know they're gonna deal with that as best as the Celtics do. He's gonna come back maybe a cyborg or some killing and stuff. But that series really had me really locked in with.
It lost your attention already. It's still some basketball to be played.
No. Yeah, I'm still in it for sure. I'm still in it for sure. But just seeing the tenacity both teams are trying to play with, and how they're really not letting either team get the upper hand. Like it'll seem like Boston's up, and New York will gradually get back in. And like you guys were talking about earlier, this Nuggets OKC series. Obviously we want the Nuggets to win because OKC beat us. But surprisingly, I didn't think this series would be tied up by now. I thought Denver, would have went up 3-1. But like you guys were saying, it's a lot of great basketball being played right now, for sure.
Hold up. You thought Denver would be up 3-1. That's kind of a hot take. I'm not
could
gonna
have
lie.
When Aaron Gordon hit
Could've
that
been.
game winner, I was like,
Yeah.
it just might be destined to be, you know.
I mean,
Hey, Celtics and Warriors, they both on the brink of elimination. Can you see either one of them teams making a comeback and making this interesting, or you think it's curtains?
Shout out Darius Garland. I don't want to, too much jinx it how he did, but if they find something to inject Steph with to get him back out there sooner, it might go 6.
That hamstring, bro. That ain't gonna.
That's
PRP.
Jaren kind of had a little hamstring injury. I want to say the second week of training camp, and that was pretty ugly. But he got back out there pretty quick, so I don't know. He's an older guy, so maybe it really might be that bad. And the Celtics, I still feel like they haven't had one of those games where their team hit 15 threes or something crazy like that. So I see it more on the Celtics and Knicks series than I do with the Warriors, just seeing how Steph is out. But, Jimmy can always put the team on his back. So
we're waiting on it.
Let me ask you this, too. One of the main topics of the playoffs this year has been guys hunting weaker defensive guys, making guys work on both sides of the floor. You play the Lakers, you play the Nuggets, you kind of put Luka, put Jokic in these actions. How much is that discussed, in your film before and your scout before, to go at these guys that are, not known as the better defenders, or that are so high usage rate offensively, you want to make sure you work them both on the other side?
Right. During a walkthrough, when we go over the matchups, the very next slide is Pigeons, and we'll have whoever the players are for Pigeons. When we try to play the Nuggets, we want to get Jokic in a lot of ball screens with guys really going full speed downhill at him. He's not really the best at the rim, but make sure you keep the ball protected because he can get his hands in there to swipe down. But who else is a Pigeon? For OKC, we want to get is it Isaiah Joe?
Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe. Want to get him in, make him chase over screens. If you get a good chip on him with screens, kind of a smaller frame. Who else? With the Warrior series, you want to get Curry in a lot of screens, ISO situations like that. But it's definitely discussed a lot. If we can get these guys,
be careful, GG, before you find yourself in the ISO now. Be careful.
I done been in a couple.
You better not be a pigeon. Don't become a pigeon.
My first couple of minutes against the that I got in the league versus the Clippers last year. This is when Russ was with them. These are my first ever minutes. Russ went at me 4 possessions in a row and scored every time. And I was
gotta check up on it. Gotta check up on it. It'll be your turn one day.
I was like,
yeah.
He rocked the baby on you.
So rude. It's so rude. There's a report out there that Tyrese Halliburton's been getting some little advice from Joel Embiid and Jason Tatum during the playoffs, which I find that fascinating by itself. But has there been a player on another team that you've gotten advice from, whether you seeked it out, maybe they gave it to you? Has that happened?
With Chris Middleton, Jimmy Butler, when we played the Warriors, he kind of excuse my language, he smacked the shit out of my head after the game. He was like, "What's up, young fella?" Smacked the. He told me a couple of things, but definitely Chris Middleton and Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans. I got to talk with him a little bit after one of the games. Just trying to get things that add to my bag, but I always ask these guys what was it for them that got them over that hump. Because everybody has years where it's kind of a slump year, whether it's at this next level or in college or high school, but just finding a way to get over that hump. And all of them just told me the same thing. It's about how many reps you get up. And Chris, he mentioned the mental aspect of it, and that's also very important because I went through a lot of ups and downs with that this year. But making sure I'm staying in the gym, and like Mr. Lou said, keeping the main thing. The main thing is what these guys be telling me.
I gotta ask you.
Don't start
only because
don't start that, bro.
What?
My bad.
Oh, Mr. Lou. He did say Mr. Lou, didn't he? Lou, it's kind of adorable. I actually think you should lean in and embrace it, Mr. Lou. And now we're gonna start.
I get Unc and OG. Mr. just sounds uptight.
You are a Mister.
I don't know.
Accept
I get
it.
used to it. It's about
Mr.
time.
Lou.
It's cool.
It's respectful. I actually kind of like
Nah,
it, Gigi.
it
Keep
ain't
up.
receding just yet. So you straight.
Yeah,
You straight.
yeah.
You're not there yet. Well, you probably never will be. We know you already mentioned it too, the Giannis pinching thing that you guys have. So I gotta ask you what your reaction was when we all watched Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Giannis face to face, kind of almost top of the head to the But what'd you think?
That was so entertaining to see, bruh. That
Be on the floor.
I mean, this part's weird.
That's
Sister.
first
Uh-oh.
thing first. Why
He
is
froze.
he even?
Oh, there you are.
why
There
is
you
he
are.
even on the
Good,
floor?
the one thing I was worried about is his name James Johnson?
John.
Yeah.
John.
Oh, John.
No, they're
Yeah.
coming
You talking
out.
about
Coming out. The
James
teammate.
Johnson,
The
yeah.
teammate. Oh yeah, the fighter.
I was worried about him because they say he do martial arts and all that, and I'm like, Giannis is pretty big, but his lower half is not the strongest, So maybe if we
I
attack
seen
the leg,
James
we can
Johnson
get him
kick
off
the
back.
backboard with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I
but
saw that with
that
my
was
own
crazy
too.
to see. That was crazy to
Oh,
see for sure.
that's insane. Yeah, I thought.
Nah,
I mean, this
that's-
part right here is weird. Hold up, you saw him kick a backboard with his what?
Kick
Yeah, hold
a
on.
backboard. Yes.
Let's
Kick,
unpack that for a second.
kick
From-
the
from-
backboard. Listen, let's just get. I'll make a phone call. We just gonna get James on the show. I'm gonna work that out.
But we need
I'm
him to
a-
do things. I want to see this.
I'm gonna work that out. But Gigi, before you run, bro, I want to know. After a recent playoff game, Jaylen Brown said nobody in the league is better at getting in the paint like he is. And then my first thought was, well, that's what Ja does. What's your thoughts about that? You think he get in the paint better than Ja?
I would say it's kind of like a Emmitt Smith kind of thing. Like, yeah, he can run, but you have a Hall of Fame.
Man, what you know
offensive
about
line.
Emmitt Smith, man? You don't know nothing about no Emmitt Smith.
My dad had me watching 30 for 30s growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of say it's like that. Like no doubt, future Hall of Famer and all that, but your offensive line or your supporting cast on the basketball court is also like a couple Hall of Famers as well. So defenses, you aren't going to be able to sit in the gaps as long because he kicks it out to Derek White and Peyton Pritchard and all those guys, they're going to hurt you from beyond the arc. So guys are kind of, just trusting their own defense. And, that intimidation, how they have on 2K is very, very, very real. Guys will really be intimidated by a guy based off of, what he got paid or what he's previously accomplished and all that. But better than Ja getting down here, I don't know. Ja has under his resume a year where he had more paint points than Giannis. So
That's pretty good stat.
I think was
stat.
it for the whole year or was it for like a couple months? Either
It
way,
doesn't
that's
matter.
like still super impressive. Yeah, like either way.
Yes, no, it really is. All right, Gigi, always love having you on. Get back to your summer fun. Say hi to Donovan
Yes,
again
ma'am.
for us.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
enjoy yourself.
Got you.
Talk
Appreciate
soon.
y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Run it up, you run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.